Hi everyone, this is Veronica. Today our topic of discussion is on aerial seeding. So even there is another term called draft seeding. No, sorry, it is dart seeding. So we'll discuss about both of them. What is the difference? What are the benefits? For my video updates and queries, you can connect with me on Instagram and Facebook because I feel together we can make a difference. Now see what is the relevance of this topic in your exam. It will be covered in your mains paper 3, conservation, environmental pollution and degradation. At prelims level, or you can say at objective level for all the government exams, aerial and dart seeding, these topics are very important. Mains level you should know because it is covered under the ambit of afforestation measures. Now in what context today we are studying this? Because recently Delhi High Court, they have asked forest authorities whether planting of seeds could be done by throwing dart shots containing them from helicopters into the forest areas. This is obviously in need to increase the forest cover. So this is a suggestion by Delhi High Court that they can use this technology to increase the forest cover of the area and make the city more greener. Now see what is aerial seeding. So this is a very old method and a very well established concept, but generally achieved not with darts but by spraying seeds through an aircraft or a drone. So in dart you are obviously using dart somewhere where from one side it is closed and another it is open and it is shot down on the ground. But aerial seeding is a concept where you spray the seeds on an open ground with the help of aircraft. It could be a helicopter or a plane or a drone, and the seeds are sprayed. As such, darts are not used. So aerial seeding can be used not only to plant various crops but also to spread grasses to large areas of the land. After wildfires, a common problem in countries like US. Even recently I made a video on Australia's bushfires, because such kind of fires, they destroy a lot of plants. So after that you need to reforest the area under the afforest measures. Therefore such steps are undertaken and they are very helpful. So aerial seeding is adopted because it is a very quick process. It is quicker, it is more effective. So these are the benefits also. Then planting manually, because if you'll go to plant manually, it will take years to plant a big forest, but through such a system it can be done quickly. And it also allows access to areas where the terrain is rocky or at high elevation, because going manually there it will take a lot of time and it will be very hard. So at rocky areas, in the areas with high elevation, right, such methods are very helpful. Another concept is of dart seeding. So what is dart seeding? It is used with the same broad objective, is very same as the aerial seeding, but here the objective is to plant in the inaccessible areas. So this process here, they are not sprayed, the seeds are not sprayed, but they are thrown with darts containing seeds into the open ground. And a variation of this dart seeding was used in Asola Bhatti Wildlife Sanctuary in late 1990s, but not with the helicopter. Here what the forest department did, they used an iron rod. This rod was open from one end where the seeds were inserted, and then it was closed at the other end. Okay, and then what they did, okay, they used to put the seeds from here and close this part, and this part was open, and then they used to put this rod, which had a small opening at the other end, into the soil, deep into the soil. The forest department used a long iron rod. So this way, the excess ground that could not be reached due to thick cover of shrubs, seeds were put into the rod, which had a small opening at the other end. Now when the rod was inserted into the soil and then removed, the soil would cover the seed, unlike in aerial plantation when seeds are thrown into the open ground. So in aerial seeding, many seeds fail to germinate. If dart plantation is done from a low flying helicopter, seeds have a relatively better chance of survival as they reach deeper into the ground. Now plantation in both the aerial and the dart mechanisms plantations is carried out close to the onset of monsoon, as watering the seeds is often a challenging in inaccessible areas. Now see, there are various advantages of this system also. See, aerial seeding is considered a broadcast method of seeding, and as I told you, it is used to plant grasses, to even for legumes and to increase the vegetative cover also. Now there are many other crops also where we use such mechanism. For example, for growing rye, then you can even, in case of soya beans, it has been used, oats, Then even you go for crimson clover, winter wheat. Okay. Now, what is the major advantage of this? So the major advantage is obviously of aerial seeding is efficient coverage of a larger area in least amount of time. So this seeding may facilitate seeding in areas that otherwise would be impossible to seed with traditional methods, such as land that is too hard to reach by a non-aircraft or ground conditions being far too wet. So aerial seeding may be used when existing crops are already planted. This is important when living in an area where there is a small window between harvesting the crop and end of the growing season, because seeding cover crops after harvest, they cause very poor stand establishment due to cold temperatures or moisture. Then there are many other conditions we have to take care of, like the soil conditions. Soil moisture plays a large role in success of aerial seeding. Adequate soil moisture for germination and establishment of seed, it requires that top of 0.5 to 1 inch of the soil should be very moist. So these conditions should be at the time of seeding or within the 10 days. There's a window of 10 days of the seeding. So soil condition is important. Next, the timing and seeding rate is important, because when aerial seeding a cover crop, so when you want to aerial seed a cover crop, one must seed them at least 7 to 10 days before drilling cover crops, because the reason for this is because the aerial seeding method is slower than that of drilled method. So seeding rates of most plants should be between 25% to 50% higher with aerial seeding when compared. This has been noticed that between the drilling and aerial, here 25 to 50% it is higher. We obtain more viability. So these higher seeding rates are needed to establish same yields as older methods. Now, whether to use a helicopter or a plane. So there has been much debate with regards to which type of aircraft is better for aerial seeding. There is some evidence that shows helicopters are better. They must be best at the job when seeding in fields that are already established. So this is because the wind from the blades, if you have noticed, a helicopter has blades, and when it comes near to the land, there's huge amount of wind blowing, right? So this allows, so what happens, wind from the blades of the helicopter, it causes the canopy of the already established crop to shake and they open. So this allows for more seed to reach the soil below. And another advantage of the helicopter is they are more easy to handle and can handle irregular shape of fields, while a plane has a harder time with such fields. Now coming to the plane, what is the real advantage of plane? Because it is much faster than a helicopter and it has the ability to carry a much heavier load. So this allows the plane to finish the job much faster, which equals there is less money involved and more viability of the seeds is as productivity we get. So here as per the conclusion of this topic, you should know about aerial and dart seeding. What is the procedure of doing this? It is a well established concept that is generally achieved not with the darts but by spraying seeds. But in dart seeding you use darts. Then you should know about application, because aerial seeding can be used not only to plant various crops but also to spread grasses to large areas, to land with wildfires. Then you should know various benefits of these. They are adopted because it is quicker and more effective and allows access to areas where terrain is very rocky and at high elevation. And same goes for the dart seeding also, because dart seeding benefit could be in aerial seeding you can differentiate, many seeds fail to germinate, but if dart plantation is done from low flying helicopter, seeds have a relatively better chance of survival as they reach deeper into the ground. So this is all about this lecture. If you have any queries, you can connect with me on social media. Thank you.